Fulfilled Prophecies, the judgment on Agar, victory of the Orthodox peoples and general slaughter of the sons of Agar. St. Paisios of Mount Athos declared that Turkey would be carved into 3 parts and Constantinople restored to Greece. Elder Ephraim of Arizona said Islam would be humbled before Orthodoxy, its strength dissolved as the faithful triumph. The great fear-anxiety shall grip the entire world. St. Porphyrios warned of a time when fear would enter every household, when families would eat in silence and hearts would tremble without peace. Elder Joseph the Hesychast said such fear would spread like a poison, touching every land. The cloak of despair shall cover the earth. St. Andrew the Fool for Christ said that men would cry for death and not find it, wandering without hope. St. Paisios also warned that without repentance, the nations would sink into sorrow deeper than war itself. The first siege of the 7 nations shall battle in Constantinople. 3 days and 3 nights of slaughter, the greatest prevailing over the 6. Elder Joseph of Vatapedi said the great powers will converge on the city and drown in its blood. St. Cosmas Aetolian foresaw fleets so vast they would darken the sea, all gathered for their destruction. The second siege of the 6. Then 6 shall turn against the 1. 3 days and 3 nights of slaughter shall rage again. St. Paisios foretold that rivers of blood would flow through Constantinople. St. Cosmas said the armies of the nations would be consumed in 3 days, as though swallowed by the earth. The angel with the keys. The war shall cease by the intervention of an angel of God, and the city shall be delivered to the Hellenes. St. Paisios spoke of this angel, who will hand the keys of the city to the Greeks. Elder Iakovos Tsalikis said this miracle will stun the nations, for no human army will have won it, the fall of Rome. The Latins shall submit to the faultless faith of the Orthodox. St. Nilus of Mount Athos foretold that papism would collapse and Rome would fall. St. Seraphim of Sarov foresaw the West bowing to Orthodoxy, reconciled to the one church, the river of light. The Orthodox faith shall move from east far into the west. St. Seraphim of Sarov said Orthodoxy would shine as the lamp of the whole earth. Elder Ephraim of Arizona foretold that its light would reach the Americas and beyond, the terror of the barbarians. Fear and terror shall seize the barbarians before the true faith. Elder Ephraim declared that Islam would tremble and scatter, powerless before the triumph of Christ's church. St. Paisios said the enemies of Orthodoxy would be dispersed like leaves before a storm, the one shepherd of Europe. Papism shall cease, and one patriarch shall be raised for the whole of Europe. Elder Iakovos Tsalikis foresaw the unity of the church under one shepherd. Elder Joseph of Vatapedi said all divisions would end, and Europe would be bound together in one altar and one confession, the end of affliction. After 50 years the affliction shall end. In the 7th season there shall be no exile, no misery, but all shall return to the rejoicing mother. St. Hildegard of Bingen saw this same vision of renewal, when sorrow ceased and the bride of Christ shone in glory. St. Andrew of Constantinople foresaw one flock under one shepherd, gathered at the end of the age into the eternal kingdom.